I know many of you would be wondering why study abroad. Is the process even worth it? And even if the process is worth it, when you go there, how does life look like? At the end of the day, are you getting what you really paid for? Today I'm going to be answering all of these questions, so sit tight and listen to why or why not you should study abroad. So before we get started with every other thing in the video, these are all the list of the things I'll be talking about, so you can have a quick look and maybe go straight away into the topic which you feel like might be more beneficial to you. Otherwise, you can stick and watch the whole video, and I'll be grateful for that. So hello everyone, my name is Amik and I just graduated from college with a degree in media production and a minor in psychology. I studied in Radford University, which is in America, and the most cool and interesting part about it is I played D1 collegiate athletics tennis. So I was part of the D1 women's tennis team where I got to play tennis as well as pursue my academic interests. Now this is one of the most amazing things about America, that it allows you to integrate sports and academics into one thing and allows you to pursue both your passions at the same time. Now this is rooted in America's tradition where they give equal importance to extracurricular activities while also giving importance to study. So I started my collegiate journey in 2021 and finally I graduated in 2024. I was supposed to actually go to America in the August of 2020, but because of COVID I did online that semester, and then I went to college in 2021 Jan. The very first thing which you need to consider if you're planning to study abroad, especially in America, is what are your academic and career goals. US has some of the most technologically advanced research facilities and diverse academic backgrounds for you to enrich yourself. You can dive deep into any knowledge-based field and get a lot in return. If you know what you want to do and are willing to invest your time, effort, energy, then the rewards are exponential. I really loved how classes were just an hour long and we used to meet like just 2 times a week, yet they were so impactful. So even though our frequency was not that much, yet I think it was so structured and well organized that I think as a student I got a lot out of it. The lessons are actually quite interactive and the professors would love to bond with you outside of the classrooms, and you can always go during the office hours and get to learn more about your own field, or if you have doubts about your subjects, or if you want help with internships. Professors I found there were really helpful, and if you're willing to network and communicate, then they can really help you about life and other things as well. US has so many different academic programs and opportunities for you that you can choose from, actually a wide array of subject fields such as philosophy, world relations, religion, social work, you name it, and there's a major for you to actually do it. And again, I think sometimes in India we get really narrow focused on a few streams. In America you can really explore a lot of your different interests and people give you equal amount of respect and importance to all these different kind of fields. One crucial thing to know that if you're not a STEM major and you're an international student, then after you finish your 4 years of college journey, you only get 1 year of working experience, which means that if you're not from STEM background, you can only work in the field for a year, whereas STEM people get 2 to 3 years of working experience after they graduate from college. So that is one of the reasons why you have to be really careful when you're picking out your major, because that really depends on what is the next step you're going to take after you graduate. I think when you move to abroad, you develop a lot of confidence and abilities to speak well, to communicate with people, and also have a very global perspective on things, because on a day-to-day basis, you're interacting with people who are from a different culture background than where you are from, and so there is a lot of opportunity to learn a lot from other people, and thus you develop really good networking skills. You realize that you don't really grow in a bubble, but there are so many other people who have so many different life experiences, and actually getting down, talking to them and learning about all these things is a really enriching experience, which I think every study abroad program offers you. I think even for me, when I went there, I was a little bit shy and polite in the beginning, not knowing how to really adjust, but I think as the years went by, I really grew more confident in my own self and narrowing down my values, my internal beliefs, and what are the things that are affecting me, what do I want to do in life, and all these other things. So not necessarily you have to have it all figured out before you come here, but I think on a personal level you develop a lot of self-awareness on what are the things you like and what are the things you don't like. I also feel that in the 4 years of college, there's so many skills which you're going to develop which are really going to help you in your work life or in a job specifically, because skills like team bonding, networking, time management, discipline, decision making, problem solving abilities as well, because anytime you encounter a problem, you're the only one you can rely on to solve that problem. So you learn to trust yourself so much more than anyone else. You may ask your friends or other people around or look up on internet, but at the end of the day, you are problem solving that situation for yourself, because you know no one else is going to do that. So that develops so much more self-confidence, reliance, and trust on your own self. One of the key skills you learn is adaptability. You really learn how to adapt to your surroundings and needs while given the resources you have there. I think another crucial skill which you develop is cultural competence. You grow a lot more sensitive to other people's culture and other people's sentiments, feelings, and make less judgments and be more compassionate in a way. Because when you're there, you meet a lot more international students who have so many diverse stories and they come from different backgrounds, and I think that makes you really humble in a way, and at the same time understand that not everybody comes from the same place as you do. I think a lot of the friends which I had were part of the athletics and tennis, so they came here because of tennis, and I think that really allowed each one of us to like bond really well, because our common goal was athletics. But again, at the same time, if you're an international student, you get to meet so many other people, and I think it's such an interesting experience when you meet people from really different backgrounds and then you come together and then say you problem solve something. So everybody comes up with solutions based on their upbringing, their culture, and the way they react to different situations. So I think it's really interesting to know all of these cultural changes. I think in a way you learn to grow more appreciative of your own culture once you go there, because I've had friends who would ask me questions on your religion and your culture, your ethnicity, your history, in a way that really made me search up more about my own culture and what makes it really unique. You grow so much more spiritually as well, because I think as the years in college go by, you start to understand yourself so much more in depth. So I think when you go out there, you meet other people, you realize that there's so much more to life and so many things to learn. For me, I think it really helped me shift my mindset from a fear-based one to one from more curiosity and knowledge and understanding other people. So I think that's one big thing which you learn when you go to America, is that everybody does a part-time job. It makes you understand is the importance of having freedom, autonomy, and personal decisions and choices. I think when you have the money, you really have the chances of making your own decisions, and you don't really have to rely on other people, because you know this is the money which you're getting from your own hard work, so you can spend it and make decisions based on what brings most value to you. I think earning money is such a big thing there on your own, especially when we go there as international students. We would also want to do something like that, so that we can have our own money and again make our own decisions. Everybody treats you with a lot of respect and dignity. Everyone knows that everyone is working hard to get to a life where they are earning their money or they are happy. People judge a lot less there, and nobody really cares about what you're doing, what you're wearing, how your appearance is like, or anything else. I think staying alone is not that easy as you think in the beginning, because again, as I mentioned, there's going to be a lot of solitude when you start staying alone with yourself. When you're in your family, everything is going on, there's so much chaos and people are there, there's always something other happening. When you're really alone in your dorm room or in your apartment room, looking outside your window and being like, why did I decide to come here so away from family? But trust me, there are times like this, but then you also move past that and then you realize the bigger picture as to why you came here. Solitude is really important in order to understand yourself on a deeper level. You learn to overcome so many little challenges that builds a lot of self-esteem and confidence. Staying alone makes you so much more aware of all these little things like grocery shopping, house admin, cleaning stuff, laundry, kitchen chores, and I think all these things takes up a large amount of your time in the day. You don't realize this part when you're in India, because there's obviously someone to do it for you. But when you go to abroad, you are the one who's responsible for all these things. And managing all of these things while you're a college student and while you're trying to manage your studies and academics and your relationships and friends and everything, this can get really tough. Okay, now let's come to the harsh reality and cons of moving abroad. That being changes, uncertainty, jobs, immigration, and visas. Now obviously when you come to college, first year, everything is nice and you're still exploring a lot of things, making friends, you love it there, culture is nice, people, wow. You get into your second year, yeah, you're still in it. You get into your third year, okay, I'm loving it, I'm adjusting well into this culture and everything, and then you come to your fourth year where you're almost about to graduate, and then you need to think about what you're going to do next in life. And I feel that is such a big shock that comes so suddenly. Like, I think going abroad is such an exciting experience that you don't realize so many things. But I think this is the harsh adulting part of life. I would say that you need to get a job, you need to find your housing situation fixed, and especially if you're an international student, you need to have a visa thing figured out as well. This is when your major of what you did in really plays a big role in it. If you're a STEM major, then okay, you get 2 to 3 years. But if you're not a STEM major, then you just get 1 year of job which you can do outside in the US, which is your work authorization. And as per like 2024, I think the job market isn't pretty good right now. It's really tough to find jobs as an international student, let alone life is pretty tough for international students. But again, this job situation is making things a lot difficult. Again, being an international student means there is a lot of paperwork and visa things. So obviously when you're there, you're on a student visa and then you get 1 year of working visa. But even in that, there's always a lot of paperwork involved and there's a lot of hassles, and you have to go from one place to another and you have to make sure all your documents are in one place and they're all ready. Again, there's so much uncertainty as to like what new rules are the government going to implement, how are things going to change, and every year I think there are always new changes coming up. So you don't know what is the new rule going to say, or you're always at the risk of being deported back to your own country. I think for some people, culturally adjusting can be very different, and especially for us Indians, we have such a rich culture. Our day-to-day interactions with people, our language, our food, and the way things happen, because the lifestyle in India is so different. Say at 9:30 at night, I want to go out and have like a kulad chai and a dosa or idli with my friends. I can just like go in a scooty and sit and eat, and it'll just cost me like 50 rupees, that's it. But in America, if you want to go out at like 10 p.m., then the only options available for you are fast food places or Dunkin', which is minimum gonna cost like $10 to $15. And then when you convert that rate back in Indian rupees, you're like, oh my god, no, I don't want to do this. I think like these small cultural things, they do make a difference, especially the very first time you go there. Okay, now this is the last part, but the most important part is finances. I mean, obviously in America, studying is really expensive. No doubt you get the best of education, good research opportunities, technologically advanced things, but they charge you for that too. On an average, per year, students spend somewhere around $20,000 to $75,000 in college university tuition fees, which comes to 25 lakhs or 65 to 70 lakhs a year. And all that money was just tuition fee. Add another 10 to 15 lakhs a year, which is for your lodging, your meals, your expenses, your transportation, your books, and all the other things. So you pretty much spend a lot when you go to abroad for your undergrad education. So I think you really have to be mindful on how much the finances is impacting you, and considering the finances, if it's even worth going abroad for an undergraduate degree. At the end of the day, it comes down to really 2 questions. One, what is your academic and career goals, and how much finances are you willing to spend? If you're really clear about which academic major you want to go into and you can see your life 5 years from now, the next is finances. If you think that your family can afford all the finances, and or maybe once you go there you'll be able to somehow figure everything out, and then you're super clear on these 2 things, then I say you should definitely go abroad, because it'll be a life-changing experience and something for which I'm always grateful. And I would encourage anyone, if they have a clarity on where they want to go, what they want to do, and if they have the finances, then they should definitely go and study abroad. But on the other hand, if you just finished high school and you're still considering what options there are to take, I would say don't rush into going abroad, because I wouldn't want you to go abroad and then realize, oh, this is not something you would want to do. Rather, there are some really great universities in India. So I think take your time in studying here in any undergraduate college. Get to know more of yourself, what you like, what you don't like, and figure yourself out on a deeper level, so that once you finish your undergraduate, maybe for masters, you can go abroad. Or maybe by that time you have enough resources available that you can apply for better scholarships then. And I think when you go for a master's abroad, you are so much more confident in yourself, and once you go there you can make better decisions for yourself too. I think sometimes people glamorize the whole going abroad thing, and wow, it's amazing life there and it's so much better than India and everything. On some levels, yes, life is really good, you get to meet so many things, it's a very transformative experience. But again, everything comes at a price, and you really have to measure the pros and cons of what works best for you. Just because somebody is posting on the Instagram story that they are partying and they're having all the freedom and that they're having such a wonderful day there in America doesn't mean that your life is going to look the same when you go there. A lot of it depends on who you are as a person, what your values are, what kind of things you like doing, and what kind of academic experience do you want to enrich yourself with. I think those are the questions you really have to ask yourself. You cannot judge your own life comparing it to someone else. So rather, you can live on your own terms. Believe me, India is again a great country and so many wonderful things about here. So if you decide to study in India, I think that's again a great option. Use that time of studying here to get to know yourself more on a deeper level, so that when you're finally ready to be able to apply, or when you're finally ready to realize that you actually want to go abroad, you'll have a much better clarity.